I don't care, how much information you get to read about me or my friends. I don't feel like setting up another account with my name and another password and another email address so I can just type in something that I think is going to change somebody's life or not, right? So Facebook has already done that, and I see Facebook actually moving probably more into the public sphere in terms of governance. I could easily see, if you wanted to file with the IRS, or Facebook's going to be the point of contact. That's my gut feeling about Facebook, and that's and I think that people are going to be forced with how are we going to live in a world without Facebook, and that's my take, and I think getting out now, or at least limiting your connection now. And for me, I just limited it. I still have my account open. But the funny thing is, Molly, I tried to go back, and I can't. It's like my template for being there is just gone.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, that after a little bit of a sabbatical, I'm calling it, a few months, that I'll go back. And I heard the other day someone say Facebook is a medium, not a venue. I thought that was so brilliant. It's a medium, the way you're using it, to tell people what you're doing about events. And I really know what you're talking about too. I think in some ways it has, when I was going through my pros and cons, I was thinking, well, it really humanizes. It shows us what we're doing in our private lives, shows each other. Whereas before, maybe there was more of an anonymous wall, and people now, see your dog, and everybody's a little bit softer because there's more to someone than just their face. And a lot of people share sometimes it's surprisingly poignant. People share things, and I know there's a lot of depth there. I'm just looking to bring it back into balance for myself, and also sensing that there's something I want to, there's a transformation that I want to go through that I don't know that I'll be able to go through without cutting those cords. Doesn't mean I can't come back to it, but the winter to me is a great time to find that, and it has to do with nature and wanting to hear more on a deeper level and see more of the dimensions and things like that. So I think spiritually, I think that I do see the people using it, and I did admire how you were able to keep it under control like that. And it's going to be different for everybody, but we've been having crazy weather. It's really hot right now. It's 85 degrees.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and we had a freeze last week, and we lost about 30% of the garden. We lost tomatoes, cucumbers, soybeans, green beans.
And now 85 degrees.
Yeah, and it's very strange. We're going to have a big storm. My sister's coming into town tonight. She's a Leo, an educator. She's driving across the state. And so we're going to meet downtown, but there's a storm brewing. It's never really sure what's going to happen. Down here, usually we get a frost later or freeze later, so that was really unusual. But you wanted to talk about Mars Virgo, and I wanted to mention something I saw in the news, because I was kind of thinking with that on my mind and us talking, and one of the expressions of it being being able to being married to a Virgo. I see like the the nervous side of it, the physically nervous side of it.
Right.
And there have been different times when I was thinking about how it's a great chance to come down to earth, but that's often a painful experience. I think one of the hardest things I ever did was quit smoking. That was in my late 20s, and I had I was almost dissociative. I remember being very aware that I had different selves that I had to integrate.
Yeah.
And there was this physical nervousness that was just overwhelming. And I'm already feeling and seeing kind of this ramp up. Plus, this morning I was feeling, gosh, the fascism is just closing around us. But I was thinking about Mars Virgo and looking at the news on this forum that you might go to too. It's the WebBot forum. I don't know if you go there or not.
No, but, I know about it.
Okay. But there was the Berkeley police captain came out with a quote to say that linking arms was a form of violence.
Oh,
and so what I was immediately thought of, that the powers that be are going to fight back with rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And that's the Mars Virgo coming in to kind of be the muscle for what's already in place.
Yeah, be the muscle for Pluto and Capricorn, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's what you're rooted in. Are you rooted in? It's going to be kind of maybe give a charge to people who feel that sense of that don't mind serving authority. That feel
right.
empowered from the system they're in. But if you took them out of that system, they're like someone with a clipboard.
A pawn in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I could definitely see that. There was a shooting at Berkeley yesterday. I don't know what. I found out about it yesterday afternoon. And, in fact, I was in Berkeley at the time, and somebody walked into the library with a gun. And I'm not sure if it was campus police or BPD. And they went in, they shot the guy. Apparently the guy lived, and he's in the hospital now. But so we just had a case of gun violence in the Berkeley campus. This whole. I could definitely see Mars in Virgo getting played out that way, like the little brother, right? I mean, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and a lot of people who've been trained kind of for with regimentation and in a military type situation.
Right, discipline, stuff, which is very Virgoan, yeah.
But then the other side of it being that, for those that understand. Now, I was thinking this morning before we talked about how it's been really weighing on my mind. I live in an area where there are forests, they're, cutting down a lot of trees, even though we live in a very woodsy area. And it's very disturbing for me. But there's the Native Americans used to talk about how you're going to be living on islands, or the wildlife is living on these little islands, and that's the feeling I get, is that they're the inhabitable places that are the ancient Earth, and those are the places to build out from. And this Mars Virgo could be. It could bring people back down to that possibility. and get busy doing that locally,
Right.
which is already happening. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about Mars and Virgo and this whole Penn State thing. You know, what's going on with if you think about it, right? So if you think about Virgo, you know, you think about, you know, innocence, right? Virgo, virgin, and Mars, violence, right? And, you know, and right now we're really at the beginning of this, and I think we're getting to see the curtain being pulled back on the violence of innocence, which I think
I do too. Yeah.
It is deeply systemic, and I think it's a network, and I think Penn State is a major node on that network. So we're seeing that, and just right at the, you know, right as Mars was in that anaretic degree in Leo, you know, we saw the, you know, the fall of like these king-like figures, right? Like Berlusconi down, you know, Joe Paterno, you know, the king of college down. And now it's like, here comes Mars and Virgo. Let's explore, you know, the violation of the sanctity of innocence. And it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I'm intrigued by it. And I'm also intrigued by how long Jerry Sandusky actually stays alive, to be honest with you, because I think he's a powder keg, and I think he knows way too much, way too much. So, yeah, I think that bears witnessing.
Yeah, and I don't know much about that one, but I do know that we've been seeing, like, the Pope came out with a statement about, in some cultures it's okay to, I don't know the exact language, but for adults to be with children sexually. And I know that when Mars is in Leo at 29 degrees, it's right on Regulus. In the actual sky. So in the Regulus is the king. People were noting that it's the sign of the kings, and it's moved on from Regulus now. But yeah, it's right at the heart of the lion. And did you say that it's the Kings? Is that the name of the team?
No. Well, no. The team is the Nittany Lions, right? And Lion is the king of the jungle.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, there's the Regulus, Mars. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that will cause drought, and it used to be associated with heat. And it used to be actually when the summer solstice began, was when the sun was at Regulus. But yeah, you know, yesterday Moon was in Cancer, and I did put something out about protecting innocence, because there was something that happened on Facebook too with a lot of porn, and like there was a big hacking thing that went through there, and it disturbed a lot of people. I didn't see anything, but I know I felt like it was all coming out, and you know, it could be this Uranus Pluto square too. It's kind of like the sins of the fathers and the whatever you want to call them, the patriarchs, the oligarchy, all their secrets are being pulled out in a very kind of shocking. They're being branded. If you want to look at Uranus Aries, you know, they're being branded, and in a way it's good, because we're, you know, there's kind of I've been really repulsed lately by a lot of what I've seen. I've had like a visceral reaction to news